Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and welcome back to some Spice. In today's video, we are featuring PURUGLY in the Great League. PURUGLY has a very interesting moveset, having access to Shadow Claw, Aerial Ace, and Thunder, so honestly it has some pretty solid coverage. For the rest of the team, I'm running Defense Deoxys and Venusaur, and I will let you guys know we have a ton of other fun Spice picks coming up, so make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, so you can stay up to date with our Spice escapades. Or Spicecapades, if you will. Alright, hopping into the first match here, leading PURUGLY into Jellicent. This is an amazing lead for us. They safe swap into Bastiodon. We're going to counter swap into our Venusaur. This is a pretty good matchup for Venusaur in the higher shield scenarios. We're going to go straight for the Frenzy Plant. That lands, and so long as we shield what's probably going to be a Flamethrower, we should be in a good spot. My opponent actually goes for the Stone Edge, which is an interesting call. In this situation, you do want to go for the Flamethrower since they both have the same energy cost. We are one away from back-to-back Frenzy Plants, so we can use the first one to get the shield, and then the second one should be enough to take out Bastiodon. As you can see, I actually didn't build up to 2 there just so I wouldn't lose CMP tie while doubling up. They come in with Toxicroak and counter me down. However, this is fine. I can dictate switch advantage, so I'll line up my Defense Deoxys with Toxicroak and my PURUGLY with Jellicent, and it should be a pretty straightforward game from here, so long as they don't catch my moves. And they switch out. They were trying to catch a Psycho Boost. I actually don't have Psycho Boost, so I'm going to hold on to my energy. I bank a Thunderbolt, and I come in with PURUGLY. And they have Bubble Beam. Oh no. So they're running Bubble Beam and Shadow Ball, so they cannot touch PURUGLY. So we're just going to launch Thunder. That does massive, super effective damage. This will be another Bubble Beam, and we can farm all the way down. And we'll be in a good spot because we're going to be able to threaten Toxicroak with a Thunder. Toxicroak comes back in to counter down. However, if we can get a shield here, then we should be in a good spot. We do get the shield, so at this point this game is over. We can come back in with the Defense Deoxys and go for the Thunderbolt. We're going to shield up whatever they have, and then the Thunderbolt is going to KO the Toxicroak. So a very good game to my opponent there. Unfortunately, it was a little bit of rock, paper, scissors, but as you can see, Jellicent is probably PURUGLY's best meta matchup. And next game against Caleb Peng. As you can see, I've been doing pretty well this season, so I'm getting matched up against some amazing people. Within the last 3 days, I've played both King IV and Caleb Peng, so it's been very, very cool. Unfortunately, Altaria is the worst possible lead for this team. I am ABA weak to Altaria, so my game plan is basically just to sack my PURUGLY, use Defense Deoxys to take out the Altaria, and hope that Venusaur can 2v1 with a shield advantage in back. This should just be a Sky Attack. I can tank this just fine, not worried about that. And he switches out. Very nice call, recognizing that I stayed in because I was ABA weak, and now he's going to be able to draw out the Venusaur. So very, very well played there. I do have to shield this up, as is probably the Ice Punch, and I'm going to overfarm by a bit and go for the Frenzy Plant. I really don't want to get hit by another one. That is going to be enough to take them out. He's waiting out his Switch Clog, then coming back in with the Altaria. However, I do have a bit of an energy lead, so I can get to a Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb is going to be able to get him very low. And he switches into a Toxicroak. And from here, unfortunately, it's looking like I'm not going to be able to clutch out this game. I'm going to be able to get to a second Frenzy Plant here. However, the Toxicroak has a ton of energy, so I'm going to try and switch out, but without Psycho Boost, I'm in trouble in this matchup. I have to call the bait here as my win condition, and it's a Sludge Bomb, so unfortunately that is going to be a GG. So very well played to Caleb Peng there. Unfortunately, yeah, he had 3 answers to PURUGLY, so that was an uphill battle. Hopping to the next match, a Shadow Machamp lead. Absolutely terrible lead. We're going to safe swap into Defense Deoxys and draw out a regular Victory Bell. Regular Victory Bell is significantly tankier than the Shadow version, but obviously does not hit nearly as hard. We do get a shield, which is great, but now he knows that we don't have Psycho Boost, so he knows that he can safely let this go. Yep, just a Rock Slide, and he throws. At this point, I'm more than happy to let this go, and it turns out to be an Acid Spray, so that's a really good call, and my goal is just to Shadow Claw down and hopefully be close to an Aerial Ace to threaten that Shadow Machamp, because if we can get all shields down, then my Venusaur should be in a good position to sweep endgame. Shadow Machamp comes back in, and we're going for the Aerial Ace. This should get the last shield, and then we're going to swap into Venusaur, and they have a Wigglytuff in the back, so this is going to be a good game. we have a Sludge Bomb, and Sludge Bomb is going to be almost one-shotting the Wigglytuff. We farm down, and from here we have 2 shields, and we lose CMP on the Frenzy Plant. We just shield that up, and he actually goes for the Cross Chop bait anyway, and Frenzy Plant is going to be more than enough to take out the Shadow Machamp and to give us the game. So even though we were hard countered up front, we were able to get a shield advantage and energy advantage, and that was able to help us close out the game. PURUGLY into Azumarill. This is a pretty solid matchup for us if we can land the Thunder. However, since PURUGLY is not really a Pokemon that many people know the moveset, they might end up shielding it just out of not knowing what it has. Thunder comes through and they shield it. Super unfortunate. However, we are definitely going to shield because PURUGLY is not the tankiest around. I'm worried they're going to try and catch, so I actually throw one after, and they still manage to catch onto Altaria. This is okay, though. I would have actually thrown a Thunder on Altaria anyway, and now we should be in a good spot. We can go for a Rock Slide. Rock Slide will get it very low. We can tank a Sky Attack, and then we can farm all the way down. Sky Attack comes through. We're not bothered by this. We can let this go, and then we're just going to be able to counter all the way down. They probably don't want to bring their Azumarill into a loaded Defense Deoxys, so we're probably going to see their third. And their third is a Sableye. We're going to go for a Thunderbolt since we can only get to 1 charge move, and this should be doing a nice amount of damage if they let it through. As you can see, it gets it to half health. They farm down. We're going to come in with the PURUGLY and force them to throw a return. I want them to empty all their energy, and then Venusaur is going to be able to close this match. And they return us. Perfect. They bring in Azumarill, and at this point, I know they don't have Ice Beam. They would have gone for Ice Beam versus PURUGLY, so I can let this go. They only have Play Rough, so this game is over. Build up to the 2 Frenzy Plants that I'll need. They shield it up. Another one coming through. I am actually going to shield this, even though it's just a Play Rough, and then we're going to over farm by quite a bit, all the way up to 2 Frenzy Plants. First one will take out the Azumarill, second one will take out that Purified Sableye. Perfect. As you can see, Venusaur is such a strong closer, and the vast majority of the wins that I got with PURUGLY were thanks to Venusaur just being an absolute monster endgame with a shield or energy advantage. PURUGLY into Shadow Arcanine. Incredibly cool pick. Okay. I do go for the Aerial Ace because I'm expecting with it being a Shadow, they're probably going to shield regardless. And we do get the shield, which is great. And I think I can get to another one, and they decide to throw. Hey, you know what? I'll take this. That's totally fine. And we're going to come in with Defense Deoxys and work on countering this down. We are going to shield up right here. Crunch, that's fine. And they switch out into a Stunfisk. We're going to counter swap into our Venusaur. We're going to let this go. People love to Rock Slide Venusaurs, and I love to no-shield Rock Slides. I know 2 Rock Slides does more than 1 Earthquake, but I can let a lot more damage through and not have to shield if you Rock Slide me. If you land an Earthquake, then I'll have to start shielding Rock Slides. So I am very happy that people are choosing not to throw Earthquakes at Venusaurs. Throw, and they actually shield it up and farm down, so now we have Defense Deoxys versus all 3 of their remaining Pokemon. We're going to shield up the Rock Slide. We're able to counter down the Arcanine, and what do they have in back? Oh, we are able to counter down the Stunfisk, and it's a Shiftry. Okay, so we're going to be going for the double Rock Slide, however we are going to need some counter damage to help us out. And we go for a couple counters, go for another Rock Slide. This should just about kill it, and one more counter does it, so we are able to take the win. Defense Deoxys also an absolute monster. PURUGLY into Scrafty. Terrible lead. We're going to swap into our Defense Deoxys. At this point, I do decide to call the bait. I'm like, I think they're baiting, and they're not, which is unfortunate, and they're going to switch into Galvantula. However, I have a ton of energy, so I can hopefully get both shields here, and then I should be in a good spot. And we're able to get off both Rock Slides. This is absolutely massive. And by getting both shields, we've now set up Venusaur to close endgame. And that's really the main goal of the team, as I mentioned, is really give Venusaur a shield advantage and watch it absolutely destroy. However, I can't have Venusaur getting debuffed. So if they get to a second move, which they do, I am going to need to shield the PURUGLY, which is never something I really like to do. And we're able to go for the Aerial Ace, and they catch it on Scrafty. So they're able to bank the Galvantula. However, now I'm able to come in with Venusaur, and I have a ton of farm. I'm going to shield this up, as it's probably foul play. And with an Energy Lead, I'm going to be able to take out this Galvantula. If they bring it back in, I can throw a Frenzy Plant right away to neutralize it. However, they bring out the Galarian Stunfisk. At this point, all I have to fear is really an Earthquake. So I throw a Frenzy Plant, then I'm going to overfarm, and then throw another Frenzy Plant. And now, I should be able to reach the other Frenzy Plant in the middle of their second Volt Switch, which we're able to do. Again, the power of Venusaur with shield advantage. Oh my goodness, absolutely wrecking right now. I know this is a PURUGLY feature, but PURUGLY it's not the best, but we're still able to get wins with it. Shadow Politoed, very cool pick. That's something I've seen a lot since we had the event where you could TM away frustration. Ton of people running Shadow Politoed. It is insanely good. Going straight for the Thunder. Come on, you have no idea what we have. Please let this go. Ah, they didn't let it go. We're going to save swap into Deoxys, and they're going to farm up a ton of energy and come in with a Shadow Skarmory, a very, very cool pick. We land a Thunderbolt, which does massive damage. They go for a charge move. I am going to shield this up because at this point, I'm pretty sure I can just counter all the way down and have an absolute ton of loaded energy. And they have to bring in the Hypno because they were not going to bring in their Shadow Politoed into a loaded Deoxys. We go for another Rock Slide here, and this is going to start getting that Hypno low. Actually, they do decide to shield up. Ooh, they are going to throw. I let this go. It's a Thunder Punch bait. They're going to try and Confusion down. Oh, and they're able to do so. So that was actually a very nice play. We come in with PURUGLY. They come in with Politoed. At this point, my win condition has now been realized. What I need to do is leave this matchup with a Frenzy Plant to take out the Hypno. I shield, and it's a Weather Ball, but they throw back to back. This tells me they do not have Blizzard. So they have Earthquake, so we're going to be able to farm all the way down, and then we have the Frenzy Plant to take out the Hypno. So that ended up working out very well for us. They were not running Blizzard, they were running Legacy Earthquake, which of the two, I personally prefer running Blizzard. I find it more useful in more situations. PURUGLY into Tropius. This is a pretty rough matchup. Aerial Ace really doesn't do a lot. As you can see, we are lagging so much in that initial matchup. Shout out to Niantic. We're able to land the Aerial Ace, and at this point, I have no idea how much energy my opponent has. They have a Leaf Blade, and apparently they have 2 Leaf Blades. Okay. So that is not great by any means. You can see, bunch of lag there. We are able to get to a last-second Aerial Ace, though, which is great. They should hopefully be getting that shield. Oh, it actually doesn't get the shield, but it gets them low. So we're going to come in with the Deoxys and counter down, because Deoxys is very tanky. We can tank a Leaf Blade, no problem. And we farm all the way down. They actually save it and come in with their own defense Deoxys. This is tough because if they have access to Psycho Boost, my Venusaur really doesn't want to see this either. Charge move coming through, I have to let this go. Hoping they only have Rock Slide, and they have Thunderbolt. Alright, this is not great. I'm going to go for a Rock Slide here. I'm hoping I can get to 2 if they try and counter me down. And now my opponent lags. So, and now they come back. So I ended up getting some of that energy back from that lag earlier. As you can see, this game is perfect and has no server flaws whatsoever. A Stunfisk comes in. We are going to be going for a Rock Slide. And now we're going to swap into our Venusaur. At this point, I'm calling it. I have to call Rock Slide baits. And they Rock Slide me. Please start throwing Earthquakes. Like, if you're the Venusaur, it's way easier if they throw Rock Slides. Especially with shields down. And I should be getting that second shield here. Yep, we do get the second shield. I call it again. I'm like, only a Rock Slide, because I can live a Rock Slide. They Rock Slide me again. I'm able to sneak a Vine Whip through, and now it's going to be a race to the charge move. And we're able to get to the Frenzy Plant. I think this should be enough to take them out, and it is. So in a very lag-filled game, we are able to come from behind and get the win. Alright, hopping into the next match here, PURUGLY into Ferrothorn. This is an okay lead, but not great, so we are going to swap into our Defense Deoxys, and we bait out an Alolan Marowak. Going straight for the Rock Slide. Unfortunately, the Marowak's able to get off the Shadow Bone, which is fine, and we're going to go for the Rock Slide. My goal is I do want to force them to throw, or at the very least get a shield advantage for PURUGLY. We go for the Rock Slide. My guess is they're probably going to shield this, Hex down, and try and Fire Blast the PURUGLY. However, so long as we shield the PURUGLY, then we should be in a good spot to get some energy, so we'll have an energy lead on the Ferrothorn. They do go for the Fire Blast there, and so we're going to be able to farm down, and now we have an Aerial Ace to throw at the... Oh, they actually bring in Swampert here. Very interesting. So they decided to bring out Swampert. That's not great for me. I really wish that I had switch advantage the other way. However, we're able to catch a Hydro Cannon onto our Venusaur. Make them waste some energy. Ferrothorn comes out. I really need them to not have Flash Cannon. That would be really great if they didn't have Flash Cannon. And they go for a Power Whip. So my guess is they're probably running Thunder. So this, or maybe Mirror Shot. Either way, this works out pretty well for us. Unfortunately, Sludge Bomb being single resisted is going to be our best bet as opposed to the double resisted Frenzy Plant. My opponent's just going straight Power Whip here. We're going to overfarm by a decent amount and go for the Sludge Bomb. My opponent does shield, of course. I'm going to swap into PURUGLY and go straight for the Aerial Ace. My goal is I really want this to KO. It doesn't quite. They come in with Swampert. I am able to get to the Aerial Ace, though. This is okay. This is okay. We're able to get it so low. We shield up the Hydro Cannon. We're able to farm down, which is huge. Can we tank a Power Whip, though? This is going to get us incredibly low. It gets us very low, but we're able to Shadow Claw down and take the win. As you can see, all in all, I did have a very good time with PURUGLY. It's definitely not a Pokemon I'd recommend. It's not very tanky, and the moveset, although cool, doesn't hit as hard as I would like to, but all in all, it shows that we were still able to get some very fun wins with PURUGLY against some very high level competition. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new and you're enjoying the content, definitely hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And a special thank you to our members here on YouTube. The support has been absolutely insane. Thank you guys oh so very much. Seriously, support means the absolute world, and I will see you guys in the next video.